Hi there, it's Liz Yule from Old Stable Crafts again. Thank you for joining me for another project. This is another in the series that I'm doing for a friend of mine who wants lots of little gifts to put into another box that she can then use to gift to some friends of hers. So this is a little box which has got some fruit teas in, sweet rhubarb. So for this one I used the Blooms and Blisses paper and the sweet sugar plum cardstock because that was the best match that I could get to go with that. So we're going to do a slightly different colourway this time, and we're using the spiced apple fruit teas. I got these at Waitrose, but I think they're available at all supermarkets. They're certainly available in Sainsbury's as well. So with the spiced apple, we're going to use the pine cones, presents and pine cones designer series paper and the cherry cobbler cardstock. It was about the best match I could get from Christmas papers, and I wanted this one to be Christmas papers. So let's start by doing some scoring. So this cardstock is 7 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I'll put all the measurements as ever on my blog, and I'll also put metric measurements there, so it'll be available for metric as well. So first thing we're going to do is score at 3 1/8, and this obviously is the simply scored scoring board. You can use your trimmer as well, but I prefer the scoring board. For metric you probably want to use your trimmer. So 3 1/8, 3 5/8, 6 3/4, and 7 1/4, and then turn it through 90 degrees and score one edge. We're going to score just at 1/2 inch. This is always a fairly fiddly one to do, but we'll score that at 1/2 inch, and then the next one again we will score at 1/2 inch, but we'll also score at 1 inch. And you'll notice that I've turned it round rather than scoring at this edge. It just means you get a better guaranteed distance, because you're butting right up, just in case there's a bit of a difference in the cut of your cardstock. Always worth bearing that in mind if you're making boxes. So let's get rid of the scoring board because we don't need that anymore. And first thing we will do is burnish all our score lines. And because this is cardstock, you want to give them a good burnish. And just be careful on these edges; they can be a little willful. So give those a really good burnish on the narrow edges. And then we need to get rid of some pieces. So first thing we're going to do is to cut in here, and we're going to miter, and then we're going to miter in here as well, and then cut straight down this line and miter, and then get rid of that. And then we'll do the same over here, so straight down. And people sometimes ask me which side of the score line they should go, or whether they should go down the middle. It's always best to go to the side where the card is, so that you know that you're always cutting the same way. I always find that if you go the side of the card, you just get a better fit later. So again, let's miter that, and then straight up here, and miter, straight up here, miter, and then this side, this is actually going to be the top of our box, so we need to keep that. If we cut straight down here and straight down here. Just need to trim that a little better. This is going to be our flap, so we need to make sure that that's an accurate cut. Then mitre here and here. And we can get rid of a little bit sticking out of the end there. And then this we can get rid of, this flap here. This is, we don't need anymore. Actually, I'm going to do this from this side. It's actually easier to see, certainly for me. I don't know if you can see this terribly well. For me, it's easier to see where the ridge of the score line is when cutting away. You could use a trimmer or a longer pair of scissors, but I do like the paper snips, so they have a good edge. So, and then we can get rid of that. So this is what we end up with. So this, which will be our flap, I'm going to round the corners of this because it'll make it easier later on to fit it all together, and I'm using the Project Life corner rounder, and then this one so that we can get nicely into the corner. If you fold so that you've got a good edge, and then make sure you're well into that corner, and again it just makes it easier to put everything together later. That's all we need that for. Let's tidy that up. So, glue. For the box, I'm going to put this together with fast fuse, so we need to come down this edge first, and remember with fast fuse you want to be light and do a quick flick. And then we're also going to need fast fuse here and here, and because it's going to be easier to do it now, I'm just going to pop that on now. Just have to be careful later that we don't stick everything together in the wrong way. So fold in this edge here, bring this over and match everything up, and then at this point I would just tuck this in just loosely so that we've got a bit more rigidity to put everything together. Now this is going to be the front of the box, so we need to keep that one back and just pop. If you remember, we've got the glue already, the fast fuse already on those flaps, so let's just pop that in, pop those together, just open that up, get the bone folder and just make sure that that's in. And then fast fuse here, and because it's very narrow, it's not actually possible to get the fast fuse in, but you can just do it in short. And remember, with the flick at the end, it's quite good to get into the habit of doing it in different directions every now and again, so that the tape doesn't run off the side of the fast fuse. And then there we are. So that's our basic box. So now we need some paper, and I've chosen the bells from the presents and pine cones. And each of these pieces, you need just two. Each of these is measures 2 and 7/8 by 3.5. And then I've also got a scrap of this design which I'll use for stamping and backing later. So for these, the first one we can put on the front, and that we can put on with some snail, which I had on my desk just now. Oh, it's right in front of me as ever. So even though I tidied up before I started filming, you can always guarantee that you can't find what you need when you're filming. So that's that on, and then I've allowed 1/8 of an inch round the edges, so we'll pop that one on. We won't put this one on just yet. That one we'll be using to hide the ends of some ribbon in a minute. So the next thing we're going to do is some stamping, and for that I'm actually using the tin of tags stamp set, and because it's tea, which you would drink hot, I'm using the Warm Wishes and Mistletoe Kisses stamp. So that's this, and I'm actually going to use the back of this pattern, very heavily patterned paper. I'm going to use that to stamp on, and I'm going to use the Cherry Cobbler standard ink. And because this is a photopolymer stamp, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to use the pad so that we can make sure we get a good impression, although these do give fairly good impressions, so it may not be necessary, but just in case. So stamp that down, and remember, just light tapping on the ink pad, and there we are. Nice impression. Close this up so I don't end up putting my hand in it. And then we're going to take the 1 3/4 inch circle punch and punch this out. Just line it up, and if you do it upside down, it's really easy to make sure that lines up all right. Get rid of that, and we can get rid of this because we don't need that anymore. And then, just to make it a little easier to, or a bit more with a bit more definition, having just closed this up, I'm just going to take an ink dauber and go round the edge here. You can do this either with a sponge or with one of these ink daubers. Because this is a small item, I think it's just easier to do it with these. If you haven't got these and you want the same effect, what you can do is actually roll your circle in the ink pad, but that can get a bit messy, so I prefer to use these. So that's that. I'll put that to one side because we'll need that in a minute. So I'm now going to bring in some of the Delightful Dijon cardstock, and from this I'm just going to punch out a 2-inch circle. You can see I've been using this for other things already, so I'm not quite cutting into a new sheet, just nearly. And then again I'm going to just put some ink round the side just to finish that off nicely. And it just helps to give a bit of definition, a bit of depth, without adding too many extra layers of card. So that's that, and now I can actually put away the ink pad. So that's that, and we're going to attach this with dimensionals. So I'm actually only going to use one dimensional on this. It doesn't take any weight, so we don't need any more than that. And then just pop that in the middle. And then you'll see here we've got on the original, we've got a bow. So I'm going to take again, this is the Delightful Dijon ribbon. This is from the Ribbon Trio pack, which is in the back of the Autumn-Winter seasonal catalogue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to the back and bring it round, and then tie a separate bow, just to give a bit more of a finish. Fast fuse. So because this is ribbon, I just want to make sure that it's properly attached. So we'll put some fast fuse on one end, and then using the grid paper, I will pop that there so that I know where I am, and then I'm down here. Bring it round the front and then cut it off. Some more fast fuse here, and then again using the grid paper to line up. lining up with the thicker line. I don't want this to be too tight, but I want it just, you know, nicely neat. And now we can take the other piece of designer series paper and just attach that over the back. So again, just snail. It's not taking any pressure, and even though it's got ribbon underneath it, it doesn't need to be a strong adhesive for this. Of course, if you've only got the fast fuse, then just use the fast fuse for everything. And there we are. Now, before I put any more on, while I've still got a bit of room, I'm going to take the 1/2 inch circle punch and just by eye punch half a circle out. That would just make it easier to open and close the box. So now I'm going to just tie a bow, and I like to, if I'm just doing a standalone bow, I do 2 loops and then just tie a 1/2 knot with those 2 ends, and then just pull it so that it's how you want it. And then once you're happy with how it is, you can cut your ends. I always like to make sure that my ribbon ends are at least slightly longer than the loops. I think it just looks smarter. So we don't need the ribbon anymore, and then we're going to attach that just, I think this time we'll put it that way round, and we're going to attach that with a glue dot. So this is one of the mini glue dots. Just pop it on the back of the bow, and then attach the bow to the box. Just make sure it's well stuck, and then 2 more dimensionals on the back, just making sure you know which way up is, and then those can go either side of the ribbon. And there we go. Pop our teas in. And there we are. A nice snug fit and another design. So here was the original and the Christmas version. So find your teas, choose colour to go with it, and there you go. It's another nice, simple, easy project. Hope you like it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. All the details will be in the description bar below, with a link to this to the blog post for this project. If you want to see more, then please subscribe. There will be more projects coming. I'm hoping to get these done at least twice a week, if not more frequently. So I hope to see you again. Thank you very much.